Here's a number that doesn't get explained enough. At the exact same savings rate, your first $100,000 takes about 7 years and 10 months to build. Your second $100,000, same contributions, same habits, nothing changed on your end, takes about 5 years. You didn't get better at saving. The math changed underneath you. And once you understand why, you'll understand exactly why the jump from $500,000 to $1 million happens almost as fast as building that very first $100,000 did. Let's get into the real numbers. Welcome back to New Money, Old Rules. Today we're not talking about a hack or a mindset shift. We're talking about the actual arithmetic of net worth. Because once you see this curve, a lot of what felt impossible starts to feel inevitable. Why the first $100,000 is brutally slow. Here's why that first milestone feels like it's crawling. At $10,000 saved, a 7% annual return only generates about $700 a year, pocket change compared to what you're actually contributing. Your money isn't pulling any real weight yet. You're doing all the work, the exact point where the math flips. But watch what happens as the pile grows. At $50,000, that same 7% return generates $3,500 a year. By $100,000, it's producing $7,000 a year, roughly 70% of a typical annual contribution, showing up without you lifting a finger. That's the actual mechanism behind everything that follows. You're not getting smarter. Your money is finally getting strong enough to carry part of the load with you. The acceleration curve nobody shows you. Here's where it gets almost unfair, in a good way. That first $100,000 takes 7 years to save. The second one takes only 5 years at the same contribution rate. And the acceleration doesn't stop there. The climb from $500,000 to $1 million typically closes in just 8 to 9 years, roughly the same amount of time it took to build that very first $100,000 from nothing. Going from $500,000 to a full million can take about the same time as going from $0 to $100,000. That's not motivation speak. That's compounding, doing exactly what it's supposed to do, what $1 million actually buys you. So what does hitting that number actually give you? Using the 4% rule, a $1 million portfolio generates about $40,000 a year in sustainable income. Using a more optimistic 7% average return, it produces roughly $70,000 a year, more than the U.S. median household income of $59,000. For most people, that's the real finish line of the first million conversation, not a number that sits in an account, but a number that could replace a paycheck. Here's the part that might surprise you. Now here's the reality check. Almost nobody puts in the same video as the math. A net worth of $1 million currently puts a household in roughly the top 12% nationally, genuinely rare. But the average age to reach $1 million is 57, and 61% of millionaires are between 60 and 79 years old. This is almost never a young person's windfall story. It's a slow, unglamorous, multi-decade build for the vast majority of people who get there. And once people arrive, plenty of new millionaires openly admit they start relaxing, easing off the habits that got them there in the first place, right at the point the math is working hardest in their favor. Why $1 million doesn't feel like rich anymore. A lot of people who've actually hit the $1 million mark will tell you it isn't what it used to be. In plenty of markets, it won't buy a large home anymore, and rising costs mean it often isn't enough to fully retire on either. That's not a reason to lower your target. It's a reason to understand that millionaire and financially free have quietly become two different finish lines. So here's the actual pattern underneath all of this. Net worth isn't a straight line, and it was never supposed to feel consistent. The early years are genuinely the hardest, slowest, least rewarding part of the entire process. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your money hasn't reached critical mass yet. Every milestone after that first $100,000 gets structurally easier, assuming you don't stop feeding it. The danger isn't the slow start. It's stopping right as the curve finally starts working in your favor. What this means for you. If you're still in that slow, grinding first $100,000 phase, this is the part almost nobody tells you. You're doing the hardest math of your entire financial life right now. It gets easier from here, not because of luck, but because of arithmetic that's already working in the background, whether it feels like it or not. If this changed how you think about your own number, subscribe for more breakdowns like this every week, and I'll see you in the next one.